Hello and welcome back to the virtual classroom for the business of real estate. We are still in week one, and this short video will cover the specifications for the first assignment, known as an activity. Most of these 3%ers are just called activities, and it's going to be fun. You're going to enjoy yourself. You're going to learn a little bit about yourself, and this video will show you what your professor, be it me or another professor teaching this. Remember, I'll be narrating these videos, but I may or may not be your professor depending on the semester. This is still Mike Sloan, so I'll be narrating all the videos, but you might have another professor teaching it to you. Either way, you still follow the instructions, details, and specifications within these videos. Because we're still in week one, there'll still be a lot of sort of basic chit-chat like that for the first couple weeks, so you guys get the hang of the virtual classroom, and then we'll just be rolling through the videos. So your week one activity is worth 3% of your final mark. It's covering your personality and emotional IQ and how this might relate to a real estate career, positive or negative. And you are to put what we are asking for into the FOL submission box by the due date that your professor specifies. So it may not be Sunday at midnight in week one. The vast majority of weeks in this course, as explained in the course material, when you have stuff that is due, it will be due at the end of that class week, which I know technically Sunday is the beginning of the week, but it'll be due at on Sunday at midnight following the presentation of that material the week before. So in week one, you may or may not have an extended deadline. I'm guessing most of the time you probably will for this assignment. So refer to FOL and your professor for that, and let's talk about what we are going to do. So based on our discussion of the initial portions of our first textbook that talk about understanding your market, knowing your town, and these are the 13 steps, okay? So part of the beginning of that book really gets into kind of being that person that really gets it in your neighborhood, so to speak, in your town. And this leads into another discussion of how the type of person you are and the type of connections you have and your personality in general and how you're perceived in that town. Are you, a woman or man about town? You're out there, you're doing it, you're kind of seeing everybody, you know everybody. These are the kind of people that do really well in real estate, okay? And that's just one aspect of many, many different personality characteristics that can make you a better real estate salesperson, or that might make it difficult for you to be successful in a commission sales type of job. So as a fun exercise in week one, we are going to take the shortest emotional EQ test I could find, because these things can get pretty long, and we're just going to see how the answers to this quiz determine different characteristics of your personality. So that is the URL for it. Remember, in these videos, you can't really click on the URL right inside the video, so I will always put any URLs or domains in the content of the video description. So if you scroll down a bit, it'll be right there for you, or you can find it in FOL, very likely in the content for that week. In case you're having a little trouble viewing the full question on the browser, you might have to switch to landscape mode. It's not the best mobile-friendly quiz, but it does work fine on any computer. And if you have trouble with browsers, by the way, this is a good time to remind you, no matter what the content is, when you are an online student, you should always have a few browsers, okay? I recommend Chrome and Firefox first and foremost, and then most people with a PC will have Explorer, most people with a Mac will have Safari, but you should always have at least 3 of them, so that if something isn't working in one, you'd be surprised, it would probably work in another. But this is a very compatible web page. It works fine in almost any browser. I just wanted to mention that the mobile view, it gets a little tight on some of the questions, so you might be better off doing it on a computer. So I'm going to show you and go through this with you really quickly to show you what you're actually going to submit. So here are the 2 things that we need you to submit to the submission box, and there should be a submission box in FOL set up for this already. And you will submit a screenshot of the completed results, and you'll submit a short paragraph describing how you think this might make you a better realtor, how you think this might be a disadvantage, like it might make it harder for you to be a good salesperson, and I'll give you some ideas for that as well. So let's jump over to the quiz. So this particular very short version of an emotional EQ quiz is from the Institute of Health and Human Potential. They have offices in the States and Canada, of course, where we are. And they do, if you go to the main page, if you don't go directly to the URL for the quiz and give this a bit of a read. I know this is a big buzz thing lately. It's 2019 now. Everybody knows what emotional intelligence is. It's basically understanding yourself and where your potentials might be, where your drawbacks might be as a result of the types of reactions you have emotionally to things, your personality, that type of stuff. So that's my definition in a nutshell. But the institution here, Institute for Health and Human Potential, might give you a little more information. Or if you're in a big hurry, you can go right to the quiz, which is here at the full URL I gave you. It's on the screen during the video because that'll just take up time. I'm going to instruct you to answer all of these questions to the best of your ability. Okay, the way that you think you would most likely behave in a situation like this. And then this part, funny enough, I found a fairly short quiz. The part where you have to fill in your information actually takes longer than the quiz itself. And when you do that, give them your information in your FOL email. Like, they do research on this stuff, so they try and understand who's using this stuff. And you can tell them you're a student. When it gets to the part where it's kind of indicating you're an employee, you can just make it seem like put Fanshawe College for the company, and you could say you're in education. Okay. And then just say how big about your class is, which is 1 to 25 people. Title, put student. Learning and development. Okay, this is meant for organizations with employees, but I'm recommending that we use it for this course because I think it's a great tool, and it doesn't take too much time. So this will take you maybe 10 minutes to do this. So I'm going to pause the video. You guys go ahead and get this done. As soon as you're done, you're going to click next. And when I unpause the video, I will be on that next screen and I will show you where to go. Okay, so here we are. My results have been calculated. And what you want to do is show me that you completed this by going here. Click here to print your email results. So instead of having them emailed to you, this is right after the next button that I just hit. Click here to print your email results. Okay, so from here, I need you to zoom out a little bit. So whatever browser you're in, you can adjust the zoom here. I'm in Firefox, but most of them will have a menu over there where you can zoom out. I'm actually using my mouse control, zoom out. However you want to do it, I just need you to show me this by taking a screenshot. And the reason I'm accepting a screenshot instead of you saving the PDF, which would be probably just as easy, is because I know a lot of you are doing some of this work on your phones, and I want to support that. Okay, so this is fully supportive with your mobile device. You know how to take a screenshot on your mobile device. Okay, it's often however many combinations of the buttons you have. It depends on which phone you have. I'm not going to get into the details of that, but I will get into it if you're on a PC in Windows or on a Mac. So on Windows, if you search the word snip in Windows, and it's amazing that I'm still in Windows 7 here, snip, okay? The snipping tool will come up, which is a very useful tool. You click on the snipping tool, and you can do something like this. And all I want to make sure that's included, you don't have to include all the text, okay? Not all of it. You can include the picture with how you came across, average. I keep taking this over and over again, trying to be as honest as I can, and I keep coming out average. And most of my students in the face-to-face course, when I tried this last year in another class, they came out above. I'm not sure why I'm struggling with this, but I do have my opinion. So get out of here. So you would click new, you would drag your mouse and literally let go and just make a screenshot. You can save as, right click, save as, and you're done. And then that's your first submission to show me that you took the test, okay? That you took the quiz, the emotional IQ quiz. You save it wherever you want to, and then you submit that to the submission box in FOL. So that's your first file that you'll be submitting. Second item to submit will be, hang on, wait a minute. No, I'm not done yet. If you're on a Mac, okay, so if you're on a smartphone, you want to take a screenshot, I am under the assumption you will be comfortable with that. If you have a phone and you're not sure how to take a screenshot, Google that model of that phone, how to take a screenshot, and you'll know how to do it in about 10 seconds, okay? If you're on a PC, use the snipping tool. If you're on a Mac, there is a combination of keystrokes, and you can get a Google structured listing with the results for that. Okay, Google structured listings are when instead of sending you directly to a web page, the stuff right at the top of the screen will give you the answer without you having to go there. So Command 4 will take the whole screen. Shift Command 4 will allow you to drag the size out and make the area the size you want it to be. So just like the snipping tool that we just covered, okay? So that's how you do it on a Mac. So that's your first piece, okay? So if we jump back to the slides here, you will see that you have accomplished your first piece. The second piece is a short paragraph describing how this might be an advantage or disadvantage. Now, I realize this is the first week in the course. Some of you might be doing this assignment without even going through the other videos yet, because for early enrollment, I may not have launched that stuff. And I want that, because I want you to think about, if I was in a commission sales career where I'm basically following up with leads, knocking on doors, it's a lot of personal selling. How might the things that I found out from the results of this emotional IQ test make me a good or not so good realtor? You don't have to do both. Most of these things you can use them and twist them around and turn them into a positive thing. So, and for that piece, that should be there. That's something that I was just dealing with. I want something really simple, just Word file, put your student name at the top, course, today's date. That's not the date I'm sure you guys are going to have, but and then you put, this is my activity. I'm not, and I will advise the other professors the same. These are pass-fail activities. These small scale, the short amount, the short size. What am I trying to get at here? Less of a percentage weight in your mark, and I just want to see that you put some thought into it, and I'm sure the other professors would agree. So take it seriously. If I get a blank piece of paper, I'm not going to give you credit. You're either going to do it or you won't have done it. So, and this needs to be in the submission box by the due date. So just as an example, someone who has great attention to detail, and that's one of those things the EQ test might reveal to you, would be a good commercial realtor, because commercial real estate involves a lot of numbers and a lot of math and a lot of stuff. I know we haven't even gotten into that stuff yet, but that would be one example. Where was I on this? Let's see. I have some room to grow. I'm likely sensitive to the emotional climate of people around me. Peers, friends, under pressure, you're aware of the behavior. Don't be afraid to honestly, sometimes I have trouble with conflict. That's tough in real estate when you're negotiating. That can be hard. So for mine, I might put something like, and then it gives us all these ideas, things to consider, which I think is really neat, right? So, and that's just for me, okay? But for the way I am, and this is pretty accurate, I would say that because I'm sensitive to the emotional climate of other people, I'm very good at matching people up with the right home for them. I recognize what's going on with their family. I recognize what's going on with their budget. And in a sales position, I can find the right product for them because I'm really paying attention to them. That's an important thing in sales. On the flip side, because real estate involves so much negotiating, and I often have trouble with personal conflict between neighbors and stuff like that. I had this one neighbor, I still do, the neighbor's dog is pooping on my lawn all the time. Kind of a real estate story we can get into later, but have I ever gone up to that neighbor and said anything, even though I know they probably would be okay? I just don't want to deal with it, right? I avoid that kind of conflict. And that could become a negative thing when I'm in the heat of negotiations, going back and forth with another real estate salesperson, and I want to get the best deal for my client. I need to be, I need to stand my ground a little more. I need to be able to honestly communicate what I think and make sure that I am, saying my piece, so to speak. So that would be an example of what I would put there. So, you're probably going to get this assignment done in almost the amount of time it took to watch the video, but watching these videos for all the activities and all the assignments, as I said in the introductory videos, you need to keep up with these kind of things in an online course, especially watching the videos, because the videos are what take the work you're doing each week and it compresses it into a shorter little piece, but it tells you where you should be, and that's really important. So that's what I need you guys to do for the assignment for the week 1 activity, and your due date will be specified in FOL, always with the submission box, should have the date right on it. And I will talk to you guys in the next video. Let's keep enjoying the course and let's keep up with our reading. These books are nice and short. The first book that we're going through right now has lots of great ideas. You should try and get into at least about a third to halfway through by the end of week 2. So I'll see you guys next time.